Welcome everybody to our next episode on the Tiny Rooms podcast. I am so excited to see you once again. We've got the most interesting people in the Tiny Room as our guests, and we've got Moses Phillips with us. I just wanted to let you know I'm Lucinda Jane Valentine. I'm the owner and lead therapist at the Tiny Room. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button. You don't want to miss out each week. Every Thursday at 7 o'clock our next episode goes up. But without any further ado, I don't want to take up all of the airtime. So, Moses, welcome. Hello. Thank you so much for your time. There's always a reason why we invite guests to our podcast. There's always a heart behind it. And I've gotten to know you over the last while. And I just feel like you've got so much to offer to our viewers, to our audience on not only mental health, but just your life, your story, how the Tiny Room has been of service to you, and also just how you can speak into people that you've come across over your life who have either struggled with mental health, or if you've had any struggles with mental health, just kind of like your experience along the way. I mean, we've been living life a little while, so we have some gold that we can impart and hopefully impact lives, and I think we do with these podcasts, and also not just impact but also possibly save lives. So I know that you had a desire on your heart when you were invited to be here, and when I messaged you and I say, hey Moses, do you want to be a guest on our podcast? And you're like, yeah. And I say, what would you want to speak about? And then you bring through some of these beautiful talking points. And I don't know if you just want to maybe give your introduction first, because I know your title is under your name, on the promotional image, but maybe a little bit of background to that, spiritual translator, and that whole vehicle sales manager. Like, that motor industry in itself is something that's intriguing a few of our viewers. Just kind of as quickly as you can, give yourself a bit of an intro. Let us know a little bit about Moses.
Beautiful. Okay. Thanks a lot, Lucinda. I'm actually grateful to be here, and it feels good, actually. Actually, my name is Moses. Let me give you my full name. It's Moses Phillips. I was actually born in the Eastern Cape.
Yes.
Actually, I'm a farm boy, if you want to call it like that. And I can tell you now, sooner or later, give it about a year or 2 years, I'm going to bring you a book, which Moses is actually thinking of writing a book.
Oh, authorship! We love it.
And I just want to give you a brief of the title now. It's going to be as simple as that. It's going to be a title of A Farm Boy versus City Life.
Oh,
I think that's actually the reason why I'm sitting here today, is to say, where I come from, where I am today, whatever happens in between. Remember, a farm, it's actually a farm. Everybody knows a farm.
Yeah.
A farm is actually very small. But a city life is something else. From a farm boy to a city life, I had to adapt in between in order to become Moses that I am today.
Wow. And
there was a struggle. There was a bit of struggles in between. But remember, at the end of the day, we actually life ourselves. Life is life, and we life ourselves.
Wow.
For me, in order to bring life to someone else, I need to identify myself as life.
Sure, I'm like, whoo, this is good.
Actually, definitely, Lucinda, you know what? Once again, I'll say the reason why I'm here today is because you took me through on a journey. Actually, you found me in the midst of my own problems, and you made it easy for me to be here today. And I can tell you one thing, in order for me to be here today, I had to have that desire to seek help.
Yeah, that willingness.
Yes.
Yeah,
there's a big difference between seeking help and looking for help. If you look for help, you might find it, you might not find it, but you'll be like, I was just looking for it.
Dude.
It's like looking for a job, actually. It's like I'm looking for a job, but if you don't have that desire to find a job that's going to feed your family, that's going to actually help you grow to become the person that you actually dreamed about. It's like setting a goal. You need to have that desire to seek it. Actually, when you found me, let me just go back when I first met you. My life was actually a bit of a mess. It was a mess, eh? If I have to go back there, it was actually a feeling that, sometimes I actually realize why people be feeling like, I want to take my life, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, there is understanding behind it. Yeah.
You need a strong character to actually endure whatever happens in your life. You need a strong character.
Sure.
But sometimes we as men, we appear to be strong. But remember, we all have a heart.
Yeah.
And it starts with the heart as well.
Yeah.
But we actually shape ourselves in such a manner that we have to look strong in front of everybody else. But at the end of the day, it kills you.
Yeah.
And last year, actually, if I have to go back there, I don't have to, but I can tell you if I go back there, somebody will understand that where I come from. It was work related. It felt like my kingdom is crashing.
Yeah.
It was work related, relationship related. Actually, all those things drained me so much emotionally. I felt like, you know what? What's the purpose of me leaving, man?
It was a dark space.
Very dark space.
It was a dark space.
But at the end of the day, remember, I've been around, you know? And I always take myself as a very strong person. Actually, my family knows me very well. I'm very strong. But somehow, somewhere, you can do so much, but it needs that consciousness in yourself to realize, listen, I need help.
Yeah.
But the question is, if you ask yourself, I need help, what's next?
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's that gap or that
Yes.
that bridge that's not there. How does this translate into reality of this help?
Yes.
And we're always thinking at the tiny room, and that's why we're doing the podcast, is what are all the angles that we can work to bridge this linking people that need the help up to us. And maybe it's not even just us. People are from all over the world watching, and nationally, here in South Africa, but we have a network of mental health care practitioners so that we can always refer. But it's just, okay, some people Google, but it's just linking people up to what they need. But I mean, for you, I don't know what I wouldn't say a blockage. Maybe it was a blockage to kind of get you across that line. How did it come about where kind of the tiny room's in your face, and you actually see, oh, I can access this? It's the accessibility that we're finding is a bit challenging for people. Daunting? I don't know, was it daunting for you to kind of be like, I need help? You get the opportunity to access the help, and now it's like, but it's still up to me to send the email. It's still up to me to send the message. And then I need to pitch, I don't know what that looked like for you.
You know what, Lucy, I must say, even by that time, I had so many issues regarding my work, regarding relationships. It's like I felt that I was so drained. But in the midst of everything else, I was given an opportunity, thanks to the company that I was working for. It's like they gave us an opportunity that, listen, we need to look at our well-being of our people.
Yeah.
And after everything, it's like it was up and down, and I felt like, you know what, I'm so tired. I don't have, even if I feel like I know myself, I can fight.
Yeah.
But that fight is not there.
It's like it doesn't feel great.
It just, you're like, you know what, I had it. It's like, just imagine, it's like, you know what, someone comes to you, it's like, hits you, you'll be like, okay.
Yeah.
There's the next side. There's nothing.
There's no bounce back.
It's like you're gone within yourself.
Yeah.
You're gone. You lost yourself. And I had to take that courage to be like, you know what, I need to send an email. Remember, it goes back, I still say we're men, you know what, we try to figure out things ourselves. We feel like, listen, I'm the man. I need to stand up for what I believe in. Whether high, it's like, it doesn't matter how high it is, I'm still going to stand firm. But I had to decide something deep down inside of me. I was like, you know what, Moses, you need help.
Yeah. I always say, how did that, when people say, oh, I'm strong and, I need to sort this out myself. And then I always say, well, how's that working out for you?
And you know what, it's like, I can tell you one thing, it's like, I'm a very well-known guy. Yes, I'm not a celebrity, but you know what?
You my celebrity. I feel very special that Moses Phillips is in the tiny room today.
You know what? You can have this conversation with your peers. You can have this conversation with your parents. You can have this conversation with your friends. You can have this conversation with strangers. But there's still that space inside of you that you feel you need someone that can listen deep into the pain that you have.
Exactly. Get in that pit.
Yes.
Be inconvenienced, get messy, get in the pit with me.
And you know what, with my company, it's a good thing actually. Remember, in sales, you get so pressured. It's like you can pop at any given time.
It's hectic.
It's like my company, when I saw, listen, company offers things like this, I was like, you know what? This has nothing to do with work, right? This has something to do with Moses.
Sure.
Now it's the time that I need to speak to someone of profession that can help me identify where did I lost myself.
Oh man, you're giving me the feels.
I'm telling you.
You're giving me the feels.
And I was like, okay, I sent the email, long story short, I sent the email, and I believe we actually corresponded with the people that are actually helping us from our head office. And I remember the first time when I actually on my way, and I was like, I never went to any moments of sitting having a
Most men haven't.
When I was driving, I'm like, you know what? I don't know what's happening there. What questions am I going to be asked? This and that. And I was like, you know what? You don't have nothing to lose. Just go and speak with someone that's a total stranger. Because you must remember, Lucina, why a reason men don't want to speak about these things is because they've got a fear they're going to be judged by the society in such a way that you, my friend, I tell you my pain, I tell you my struggles, but you're going to tell it to the next person.
Yeah.
So when people are looking at you, they'll be like, I know you, even if I never met you.
Yeah.
But I know Lucinda, and Lucinda knows somebody else. So the story is actually so linked up.
Yeah.
People know you without even knowing you.
Yeah.
And let's say, for instance, you come across, you just have a misunderstanding. People can tell you about things that you don't even know they knew about it.
Yeah.
You thought you're saying that to a friend.
It's that trust. It's that. We always say to clients, this is a vault, and
Exactly.
you know that we've been doing it a long time. So privacy and confidentiality is ethically so high up on our list. But that privacy and confidentiality can be said. But is it practiced?
Correct.
Is it part of your DNA as a private practice? Is it actually so instilled that we've got siblings that come here, that there's no overlapping? There's husbands and wives that are coming here in separate therapy journeys. There's no overlapping. There's a parent and a child, you know, going on their separate journeys, and there's absolutely no overlapping that it boggles people, or even colleagues. Colleagues are coming from certain companies and they're going on their separate journeys that some of them didn't even know they're going to the same therapist. And they have a conversation, they're saying, oh, they're going for their therapy session, and they're like, oh, like, who's your therapist? And they'll say Lucinda, but then they're like, but that's my therapist.
Yes.
And they get upset with me. And they say, but now why didn't you? I'm like, why am I going to tell this person? How would I do that? Why would I do that? And they're like, oh, I'm like, you want me to practice privacy and confidentiality, don't you? And they're like, yeah, I suppose. I'm like, hello, you know, that type of thing. But I can understand some men think, especially if you practice that servicing area, like with us, it's the northern suburbs of Cape Town, even though we've got virtual clients from national, international. So I can understand, and I also am quite well known in the northern suburbs of Cape Town. But at the same time, this is my profession, you know.
Right.
This is my business. This is my baby. I would never want that trust to be lost because these things need to come out. Like you said, you needed to actually go from deep.
Yes.
And get that out. But
yes.
Just on that, I wanted to get into something that you mentioned as part of the discussion that you wanted to get into today, and it was about this world needing us, this world needing you. And I love the heart behind that, because I know you pretty well, and we've gone on a journey together, not only through our therapy journey, but also I've gotten to know you well as a person, and I have a lot of respect for you. And when you say stuff, I don't just take it lightly, and I know the heart behind it. What's the context? What's the story behind you saying, listen, I want to chat about that point? Where was your head at? Where was your heart at with that?
You know, Lucinda, my head was actually around, one needs to know who he is. When I said the world needs you, the world doesn't need a half of who you are. The world needs the full potential of who you are. And whether you're male or female, the world still needs you. let me just take you through an example.
Yes, please do.
Me as a male, right? I need a female in my life. A female needs a man. We need each other. We need our children. Everybody's needed. So when I say the world needs you, despite the challenges you're facing, remember the challenges that you're facing actually shapes you for what you're becoming.
Yeah, definitely. Even the mistakes we make.
Even the mistakes. No one is perfect. We all made mistakes.
Not even your therapist.
We're not perfect. We're not. We strive towards perfection, but we're not perfect.
No, yeah.
The mistakes you do today will teach you about your future, about your tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Accept the mistakes that you did.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, say I didn't know. Don't be like, I know it all.
Yeah.
Be willingly to be taught that, listen, you made a mistake. But you'll never know that mistake if you're not going to identify it yourself that I made a mistake.
Yeah.
There's no right and wrong, but it's what serves you. But if it speaks to you, it's wrong. If you feel it's wrong, it's wrong.
Yep.
And let me just take you back once again into my journey. When I talk about last year, I had to make a decision that, you know what, Moses, you can figure it out yourself. You can do this. But now you need someone that's going to guide you through. You need to go and find yourself as Moses.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
And I can tell you, by that time, I had a relationship for 12 years and it ended. My work environment was so toxic, I can tell you. Once your work environment gets so toxic, it affects your income.
Yeah.
Once it attacks your income, actually, there's one thing I've learned in my life. There's two things that you can actually, either you are emotionally stable or you're financially stable.
Okay.
But once it hits you at the same time,
ooh, good
it's a
one.
disaster.
Well done. Nail on the head.
And that's where actually we as men, because we call ourselves the providers, right? Once it hits you, you feel like, listen, I'm useless. I'm no longer, you're still who you are.
Yeah.
One thing I can tell you is either you're sitting at the wrong place, you're sitting at the wrong relationship. You need to discover what's the problem.
Yep.
It's either you or it's your situation.
Oh. And it's so difficult to figure out which
Exactly.
one, if you're so mentally fatigued, so physically fatigued, emotionally, like fatigued in every aspect of the word.
And, and you know what? Sometimes you know you've got it in you, but you feel like, listen, I cannot.
The tank is just
There's nothing
empty.
wrong to raise your hand and say, listen, I seek help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, actually, to come here was just another thing. It was
cool
like,
to hang out.
it was like, you know what? Sometimes, I remember I'm in the motor industry. Once you fill up your tank, sooner or later, you have to go and fill up the tank again.
Yep.
Either if you don't fill it up, you need to top it up.
Yeah.
You cannot drive with that tank. Once it gets empty, that vehicle's stuck. But you know what's going to happen?
What?
If that vehicle's stuck, you're stuck. It's either you're going to phone a roadside assistant to bring you some petrol, if you're going to hike, can I have a lift to the next garage? Either or. But if you would have thought about, listen, I need to make sure I've got enough petrol to take me from point A to point B or point to point C, you need to prepare yourself for that. Listen, I need to put in, but if you don't, be prepared to get stuck.
And rely on somebody to help you out of that.
Correct. So with me, I came here and actually, to be honest with you, is like, my first day, remember when I actually was standing outside?
I know, it was awkward. I almost forgot about your appointment.
And actually I found you, you were like,
oh my
no,
God.
I don't have an appointment with you. I'm like, oh my word, Lord, are you telling me I'm so prepared to come and take this first step?
Yeah, there was
of
almost a
my own
blockage.
journey?
Yeah, it
Yes.
was almost a blockage.
My own journey. And you know what? I had to come here in order for me to know who Moses is. Sometimes we tend to be so hard on ourselves and we tend to take other people's mistakes or our mistakes together in one.
Yep.
And it crushes us. It's like, I can tell you, it will be a disaster of note.
Yeah.
You'll be like, you know what? This world is no longer for me. When I said this world needs you, this world needs you with your challenges. Because once you overcome those challenges, you'll have an opportunity to sit in this chair
Oh man,
Share those
dude.
challenges with the ones that are actually looking at you or the ones that are actually watching you. Because
I'm not gonna cry today.
they actually need people that actually accept and overcome. For me, actually, I can get to a young man, he can ask me, Moses, you know what, I can figure it out. When someone said, listen, I've got this problem, I've got that. If I've been there, it's easy for me to guide that person. Listen, it's not the end of the road.
Yeah.
Just stand firm or go and seek help.
Yeah.
I know it's going to cost you a bit there and there, but it's going to... Why? Do you know what? For me, rather let it cost you so much in terms of money than costing your own life. Because...
Can't go back on that, hey?
Exactly. And to go back to what I mentioned, we need each other. I need you, you need me. The viewers need me, the viewers need you.
Yeah.
Everybody needs somebody.
Yeah.
For example, if you're going to take your life now, you're actually stunting the process of what God created us to be. Because if I'm not going to meet Lucinda today, or if I didn't meet you, the day I met you, I would have never sit here and with a smile on my face. With that said, it's because of the challenges I faced actually shaped me to realize that, listen, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It's either with you, or you no longer had enough fuel for your next destination.
Yeah.
You need to go back, or you need to go and seek fuel. If you're stuck, go and seek it.
So brilliant.
But once you put in that fuel in that vehicle,
Oh.
make sure you're not, I can tell you now, if you get stuck once, chances that you're gonna stuck the next time, it's not, you'll definitely be thinking about, listen, I'm gonna stuck. If I don't put in petrol now, I'm gonna stuck. Unless you're one of those people like, you know what, I don't care. If I stuck, I stuck. You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those. But at the end of the day...
That intention, you got to be intentional about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we need each
It's
other.
lacking sorely.
Correct.
It's really lacking sorely. Because also some of the stuff that you were talking about is finding yourself in that busy world. And I mean, obviously you're telling us a bit of your story. And there's obviously a lot more details to that. But like you said, you've been around, you've lived life, it's been busy, you've had relationships, you've been working, you've been building a career, you are in certain industries, you're building up a professional, identity in a certain industry. You've got your own personal things going on, so it gets busy. But finding yourself in that, how did this come about? Because I take it you a lot further down the line, or the journey of finding yourself, if not maybe completely there, to now have the rest of your life be the best of your life. And as we say here, live your best life. I feel like the next years are going to be you living your best life, if not happening now already, and what we say, bossing your life. What does that mean for you now in the busyness of this world, for people that aren't finding themselves and are struggling to find themselves, like maybe giving a little bit of a insight on, almost like saving them time a little bit, Give us some wisdom, Moses.
When you find yourself in this busy world, whether with or without you, this world is still going to be busy.
Yeah.
With or without you.
It's always going to be like that.
It's always going to be busy. To find yourself in this busy world is like, now you need to identify who Moses is. What is Moses made of? What can Moses tolerate? What can Moses not tolerate? Do you know what I can tell you now? If anything happens to me, I still have that feeling. Not saying that nothing will happen to me. That's going to drive me back into this room. I'm going to be in this room day in, day out. Because you know what? I want to better myself.
Yeah.
You'll never be perfect, goes back to you'll never be perfect. You're not going to know everything.
Yeah.
Whether you like it, you need to find yourself in this busy world. Once you find yourself, you need to work on yourself.
Yeah.
That work in progress doesn't end.
Yep. No,
It doesn't
agreed.
end. I'll make an example. You know what? I was actually at one of our dealerships actually in Somerset West. I had this customer of mine actually, they came from Joburg, come and fetch. They bought actually 3 vehicles from us. And it was a mess. Unhappy customer. Eventually, you know what? The customer actually felt like, you know what? There's nothing he can do about the situation. He said something to me that I'll never forget. Never forget it. But I twisted what he told me into my own understanding. He said, Moses, the bag of money never gets full. the bag of money never gets full. He said, money, it's numbers. And it doesn't end.
No, yeah. No matter how much full it is, it never gets full. That is
Never.
so true.
And I took that and I was like, okay, this guy is talking about money. Let me twist it into my own life. Right? Then it means I'm a work in progress. No matter what, I'll go to grave still working on myself.
Powerful.
But now we allow these small hiccups or these hurdles that's happening in our life, and we take it as, listen, this is a stumbling block. I'll never overcome this.
Yeah.
Because your mind is telling you that.
Brick wall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you can.
Yeah.
But once you identify who you are in this busy world, you'll know exactly. Do you know what? Some things will be like, you know what? I'm going to laugh about this.
Yeah. Don't sweat the small stuff.
This
That's what we say here.
This doesn't need my attention.
Yeah. Not worth your energy.
I would have never knew that if I never came into the small room trying to understand who Moses is.
So much to offer this Moses.
Exactly. And I remember a relationship that collapsed, finances that collapsed. What is that?
Your identity is not in that.
I don't know. And I had to take a step back and be like, you know what, I need help. Let me go and speak to a stranger that doesn't know me.
Yeah. Objective, safe space, offload, unpack, rebuild, reset, reboot.
I love the word you mentioned, reset. You have to reset if you feel that you had enough.
Yeah, and you can. A lot of people don't know that that's possible. Even the rebooting. How I've made so many poor choices and decisions for myself. How is it that this picture that I've painted with those choices and decisions, how can this picture be different? And I think that's why the tiny room is so sought after on our very weird and unique and unconventional way of doing counseling and therapy. It's fun. It's kind of like it's been flipped on its head because you can, and we show them how in detail as they come through the process. And it is a process. I mean, you felt it. It's a process, and I mean, you haven't even gone the full journey, and you're going on the full journey, but it's a process. And a lot of people think that counseling and therapy is just a flash in the pan. You go every now and again, but we are not one-dimensional. Humans are not one-dimensional.
Right.
We don't live in a tunnel. It's a web. It's a system. Your body organically and biologically is a system. You can't just sort the heart out on its own. It's pumping all the other stuff, the nervous system, the lymphatic system, the muscles, the bones, all of that together. So how dare we think that counseling and therapy is, go one session, I'll feel great, go next session. I'm like, no, we need to reboot and reset through a process. And that's why I think our results are the results are there. You know, the proof is in the pudding. The outcome and the results and the effectiveness is there because we are unapologetically asking clients to commit to a process. Be it a counseling process, which is more short term, 3 to 4 sessions. And there's a scope, a specific focus area for counseling. And then there's a therapy process, which is a bit more long term, a bit more deeper. There's a few more things that get unpacked. And we can obviously figure out for clients what it is. But just in closing, and just lastly, the one that intrigued me the most was when you said you wanted to speak about, a lot in mind versus a lot on your mind. What do you mean by that? Like, I know there's profoundness behind it because I know you, and I just know that, I want to hang on that, like every word you have to say behind it. So please tell us in this last few minutes.
Okay. When you have a lot in mind, just if you think about it, I've got a lot in mind. It's structure, it's strategy.
Sure.
It's planned already. It's in mind. It's there already. When you have a lot on your mind is cluttered. There's so many things in your mind, but you actually can't tell what to do, what to take, what to leave. It's like you've got a lot on your mind. It's like your mind is cluttered with so many things. It goes back to what I was mentioning. It's like you need to know who you are in this busy world. Remember the world that we're living in. What makes it even busy? When you capture, when you notice, when you see everything, you take it from the news, you take it anyway, it comes to your mind. Then you've got a lot on your mind.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be a struggle if you've got a lot in your mind to actually discover where is your next direction.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you now, once you start feeling I've got a lot on my mind, raise your hand and be like, I need help.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot. And you cannot figure out everything by yourself.
No. The training's not there, the
Yes.
expertise, the experience. It takes a village to raise even an adult.
Correct.
And to raise a business. And to raise a child. And there's mental health care practitioners and professionals in that village. Because why must we work hard? Work smart.
Exactly.
Get support systems going, you know?
You know what, I'll tell you something. You know what, I've been very curious in a very early age. I was a barman at Protea Hotel King George. And one of my lines, remember every barman's got a line.
Okay.
My line was always, when I see these customers, you know what? What's your secret towards success? That's my question.
Oh, hello.
What's your secret towards success? Because you know what, I see this person, I see myself in that person. It's not that I don't see myself taking the person's position or whatever he is.
No, for sure.
I see myself in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And what's your secret towards success? We've got different people who tell you different reasons. And it was actually a motivational speaker. I told me, Moses, you're successful already. What do you mean? He said, you know what? The air you breathe. Were you involved in any accident? I said, no. Did you lose any part of your body? No. So you're successful.
That is so true, hey?
And I'm like, wow. Because we tend to look at success as material.
Yep.
The wealth that we carry.
Yeah.
The bank balance that we have.
Yeah.
That's how we look at success.
Even wealth. People think wealth is money.
Yes.
Wealth is in many aspects of our lives.
So your success means to you, let me have $1 billion in my bank account. Once you achieve it, that's your success. It's not mine. But that doesn't make you better than me.
Yeah.
My success is to make sure that your well-being, when you're around me, you smile, you feel happy.
Oh, dude.
For me, that's success. That doesn't make me better than the billionaire. We all the same. And you know what, with that said, it actually, that's what I say, people will tell you, you need to work hard in order to be successful. There's no such a thing. Brothers and sisters, you'll work so hard till you die. Unfortunately, if you want to think success is all about hard working, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And once you ask them, what's the secret to success? Who will tell you a secret to success if not willingly for you to be successful? The secret to success, in my understanding, you need to find yourself in this world.
Yeah. That center point, that core is the details of your personality.
Yes.
Your personality doesn't change. Your character, your skill set, your behavior can change for the better or for the worse. But at the end of the day, if you don't know that consistent thing, which is your personality through and through, your identity is in that.
Correct.
And that's what actually is going to shine through. If you know it well, you can let it shine through 100% authentically into every area of your life. And the rest of the successes or the benefits or whatever that happens there is just bonus. You know, and we were saying about contentment earlier, you know, in a previous conversation, and we go through some of that contentment in our therapy. But just in closing, I want to thank you so much for such gold. I mean, you can tell Moses has so much that he can impart in our lives and change our lives for the better. This is not the last time that he'll be in one of our episodes, you know, coming over as a guest. We're going to definitely have him back in a couple of months' time. But if any of this is resonating with you, please pop a comment underneath. Share this video with somebody that you feel needs to hear this information. The more we can get this out there, I really feel that a lot of people feel alone and they think that they're the only ones going through stuff, and it's not. I meet people every hour on the hour every week, and your story I know resonates with somebody that's listening or watching. So we need to just carry on not keeping this information to ourselves and being selfish about it, but actually getting it out there, because you might not need this. But you've learned something, you've gained something, but someone else might, and by us passing it on. So let's just make this go viral. You know, in the description box, Moses's handle for his Instagram and also an email ID. You can get hold of him if there's any specific questions that you have. But Moses, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for the possibility. Thank you for sharing your heart and just taking the time, because for me, time is life. And you just spending this, you know, almost an hour together is you know, putting it in your schedule, coming through, sharing your story, being vulnerable. I feel being vulnerable is probably the most strongest thing that anybody can ever do, and we don't do it enough. We need to do it more, because if we tell our stories very authentically, very transparently, we can actually be of service to other people. And the tiny room is just there to serve people. That's it. All the bells and whistles of academics and all the background study and all that stuff, for me it's a nice to have, and it makes us ethical, and it keeps us kind of like legal. But at the end of the day, we're all about doing life together, and you and I have been doing life together. You have blessed my life like nobody's business, and I am a better person and a better version of myself for knowing you. And I'm excited to do life with you further, and in the tiny room and outside the tiny room, and yeah, just watch this space. So bye guys, we'll see you soon. Bye. So Moses Phillips, thank you once again for being a guest in the tiny room, and we look forward to your future, not only on our therapy process or journey, but at the same time just in life as a whole. And we really appreciate your time. So to all our viewers, if you are enjoying our content, if you are enjoying what our guests have to say each week for our episodes that we are uploading on our YouTube channel, then please like and share, subscribe. The more encouragement we get, the more we realize that you guys are enjoying our content, and the more time we put towards getting even more amazing guests, or more guests more often, and put out more episodes. So go and follow us on Instagram at The Tiny Room Therapy. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can go find us on Facebook, but most importantly, you can go check out our website, which is www.thetinyroomtherapy.com. And if you are needing any mental health care services, please reach out. Any questions that you have, pop it in the comments, email us on info@thetinyroomtherapy.com, and we'd love to get in touch with you, help you wherever you can, clear up any confusion, and just give you that clarity. So we love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we love you. Bye.